If you have shortlisted the paid anti-detect browsers, three names keep coming up: Multilogin, GoLogin, and Kameleo. They all do the same core job: separated browser profiles with managed fingerprints, but they are priced and built for different people, and paying for the wrong one means paying for strength you will never use. Today I want to break down where your money actually goes with each of these three, so you can match the tool to how you really work instead of to whichever one an affiliate pushed hardest. Quick note on framing: I run real proxy and cloud phone farms, and I test these tools on live setups with proxies attached, the way operators actually use them. I am going to keep this honest and concrete, no undetectable promises, and every verdict is about what each tool genuinely gives you for the price, not a score pulled out of the air. The one job they all share: start with what is common, because it sets up the differences. All three create isolated browser profiles, each with its own fingerprint, cookies, and proxy, so accounts stay separated. All three manage the usual fingerprint surfaces: canvas, webGL, fonts, time zones, navigator properties. All three let you attach a proxy per profile. So at the base level, you are not choosing who can separate accounts, they all can. You are choosing where the extra money goes, and that is where they split hard. Multilogin, the established premium. Multilogin is the old name in this space, and it prices like it. It runs two browser engines, a Chromium-based one they call Mimic, and a Firefox-based one they call Stalker, so you can present as either browser family. It is cloud-capable, team-oriented, and built around reliability and reputation more than around being cheap. What you are paying for with Multilogin is maturity, a long track record, polished team features, and the confidence that comes from a tool that has been doing this longer than most. It is not the budget pick and does not try to be. GoLogin, the accessible cloud tool. GoLogin sits lower on price and leans into accessibility. It is cloud first, with profiles living on their servers, so they follow you across machines, and its browser engine is a Chromium fork called Orbiter. It offers a free tier to start on and a mobile app, which is unusual and genuinely handy. What you pay for with GoLogin is approachable pricing and cloud convenience, a tool that lets a smaller operator run a real number of profiles without the premium tier price. It trades some of the deep polish of the pricier tools for being easier to afford and get going with. Kameleo, the automation and mobile specialist. Kameleo is the developer and mobile-leaning option. It is local first, and its standout is strong support for mobile device profiles, emulating Android and iOS fingerprints, plus engine coverage across Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. It exposes a solid automation interface for driving profiles with Selenium or Playwright through its API. What you pay for with Kameleo is that automation depth and the mobile emulation. So if your work is scripted or specifically needs believable mobile profiles, that is where its money goes and where it pulls ahead of the other two. Where Multilogin's money goes, be specific about the premium. With Multilogin, you are paying for two mature browser engines, robust team and permission features, and a reputation that means fewer nasty surprises. Teams that run many operators on shared profiles, where reliability and support response matter more than saving a few dollars a month, are the natural fit. If you are a solo operator running a handful of profiles, you are likely paying for team polish you will not touch. And that is the classic way people overspend on Multilogins. Where GoLogin's money goes. With GoLogin, the money buys accessibility and portability. The cloud model means a dead laptop does not cost you your profiles, and the pricing means a growing operator can scale profile count without hitting premium tier walls immediately. The mobile app and free tier lower the barrier to starting. What you are not paying for is the deepest team tooling or the longest track record. For a solo operator or a small team that values cloud convenience and a gentler price, that trade is often exactly right. Where Kameleo's money goes. With Kameleo, you are paying for automation and mobile. The API and local control make it a favorite for people who script their workflows, and the mobile profile emulation is genuinely useful if your accounts need to look like phones rather than desktops. What you are not primarily paying for is a hand-holding cloud experience, since it leans local and developer-oriented. If you do not automate and do not need mobile profiles, a lot of Kameleo's value is sitting unused, and one of the other two probably fits you better. The proxy reality is the same for all three. Here is the leveling truth. None of these three sells you proxies, and none of them can save a bad proxy. You bring your own, and the browser, however premium, only manages the device half of the identity. A flawless multi-login, GoLogin, or Kameleo profile still gets an account flagged if the proxy underneath contradicts it on geography or reputation. So do not let a pricier browser convince you the network half is handled. Across all three, the proxy work is yours, and it matters more than which of these you picked. Cloud versus local across the three. The cloud and local split runs right through this comparison. Multilogin and GoLogin lean cloud, so profiles follow you and survive hardware failure, at the cost of depending on their servers. Kameleo leans local, so your data stays on your machine and starts fast, at the cost of being more tied to one computer. This is not a tiebreaker on its own, but it maps neatly onto how you work. Bounce between machines, lean cloud, want your data under your own roof, lean local. It is a real axis worth weighing. Phone Stichiel Moknta, matching the tool to the operator. Put the fits together plainly. A multi-operator team that values reliability, support, and polish, and does not flinch at premium pricing. Fits Multilogin, a solo operator or small team that wants cloud convenience, a mobile app, and accessible pricing to grow into Fits GoLogin. A developer or operator who automates heavily or needs believable mobile profiles fits Kameleo. Most people who regret their choice picked on brand recognition or an affiliate link instead of on which of those three descriptions actually sounds like them. Worth a direct warning. All three are pushed hard by affiliates, and the loudest recommendation is often just the biggest payout, not the best fit for you. Any review that promises one of these makes you undetectable or unbannable is marketing, because none of them can do that. Judge them on the concrete axes: engines, cloud or local, automation, mobile, team features, and price, and ignore the outcome promises entirely. The honest comparison is boring and specific, which is exactly why the hype crowd avoids it. The practical test cuts through all of it. List the 2 or 3 things you actually need. Maybe automation, maybe mobile profiles, maybe cloud portability, maybe team seats. Then check which tool leads on your specific list rather than on a general score. If 2 are close, use free trials or entry tiers to build the identical setup in each. Attach the same proxy and see which one gets the device and network stories to agree with less effort. Your own shortlist plus one afternoon beats any ranking, including this one. Engine choice across the 3. The browser engine under each tool is worth a moment. Multilogin and Kameleo both give you Chromium and Firefox options, and Kameleo adds WebKit for a Safari-like presentation, while GoLogin centers on its Chromium fork or beta. Most work happens on Chromium because most sites are tuned for Chrome, so engine variety is a secondary factor for many people. But if your accounts specifically need to present as Firefox or Safari, or you want to spread across engines, that coverage becomes a real reason to lean toward Multilogin or Kameleo over a Chromium-only tool. Team seats and why they cost. If more than one person touches the accounts, team features stop being optional, and this is where pricing diverges most. Multilogin is built around teams with roles, permissions, and shared profiles that transfer without leaking cookies, and you pay for that maturity. GoLogin offers collaboration at a gentler price point. Kameleo, being developer and local leaning, is often driven by one operator or through automation rather than a big shared team. So the number of humans on your accounts, not just the number of profiles, is a real input into which tool is actually cheaper for your situation. The learning curve, there is a human cost beyond the subscription, which is how long the tool takes to get comfortable with. GoLogin tends to be the friendliest to a newcomer, cloud-based and approachable. Multilogin is polished but has more surface area because of its team features. Kameleo rewards people who are comfortable with automation and setup and can feel more technical to someone who just wants to click. Factor in your own patience and skill, because a tool you fight with daily costs you more than its price, and a tool that fits your habits pays that back. All 3 give you a way to try before committing, whether a free tier, a trial, or an entry plan, and wasting that is the most common mistake. Do not just click around the interface. Build a real profile, attach a real proxy, verify the fingerprint and the proxy story agree. And if you automate, run one scripted task, put each tool through the exact workflow you will actually use on the same proxy, so the comparison is fair. The trial is there to answer one question: does this tool get the two stories to agree with less effort for my use case? And only a real setup answers it. The total cost including proxies. The last honest point on money is that the subscription is not your whole bill. Proxies are a recurring cost on top, and good ones, residential or mobile, are not cheap, and they scale with your account count just like the browser does. People compare the three browsers on price and forget that the proxy spend often dwarfs the browser spend at scale. So when you budget, add the proxy cost to each options, because a slightly cheaper browser paired with the same proxies does not change the part of the bill that usually matters most: longevity as a quiet factor. One thing that does not show up in a feature table is how long the tool is likely to be around. Multilogin has the longest track record of the three, which buys a kind of quiet confidence that it will still be supported and updated next year. That matters more than people think, because migrating a large set of profiles to a new tool later is painful. A slightly pricier option that you trust to still exist and keep pace with detection can be cheaper than a bargain tool you have to abandon in a year. So where does the money go? Multilogin buys maturity and theme polish, GoLogin buys cloud convenience and accessible pricing, Kameleo buys automation depth and mobile emulation. Pick the one whose strength is the thing you will actually use, and remember the proxy half is still on you with all three. The full written comparison, tested hands-on with proxies attached and no undetectable promises anywhere, is at antidetectreview.org. If this helped you match the tool to your work, subscribe, because next up I am taking apart where retail leaks the single hole that quietly undoes an otherwise careful setup. See you in the next one.